Hello and welcome back to Joyless Gaming, and I guess it's still another sort of shortish video review type thing. Sort of for a thing that's on Game Pass. This is Code Vein, anime Dark Souls. This is actually having me having played the demo that's available on Steam, but it is currently on Game Pass. So if I actually wanted to play the whole thing, I could. I don't think I do. But, well, I'm not the most qualified to talk about Souls likes and what have you. It was a bit of sort of a mixed bag for me. It was, in some ways, it was better than, well, I mean, one of the few other Souls likes I've played was Vampire. And it was better than that. But in a slightly less complicated way. I don't know. It's a very strange thing where it's got this very complicated stat sheet with things that are hard to follow, and it doesn't hide the information from you. It does actually have hint things that explain what things are supposed to mean if you feel like reading that, but it doesn't. For something that actually has a quite simplified leveling system, because you do just level up the character. You don't pick stats to level up like you do in Dark Souls. You just level up the character, and a level improves your health and stamina and the damage that you deal. And everything else seems to be derived from your blood code, which is mutable. It's rather like being able to change your class whenever you want, and you can change your equipment whenever you want, and that seems to be what the gameplay is about. Is any complexity comes from that, by the looks of it, because the leveling itself is actually quite simple. Backstabs and all that sort of stuff. The mechanics are slightly more complicated than specifically, say, like Vampire, but it's got a fairly generous parry timing. I mean, I say fairly generous, it's very weird to get, but you actually do have to start the parry noticeably before you get hit, because there's a certain animation, and most of that animation actually needs to play before you get hit, before you get the right parry timing. And I was trying to do that quite a bit, simply because the parry does so much damage, but I think it's intended more for regaining your, well, I mean, they call it Ichor. It's mana, and all the sort of bloodletting type stuff is mainly to get that boosted or recovered so that you don't have to use vials for it. But here's like a mini-boss thing. This is something that you unlock after you technically finish the story of the demo. I don't know if this is meant to be like an endlessly repeatable type area, or if it's one of those areas that you get to go to after you start exploring the game, but anyway. There was me fucking up parry timings and getting destroyed by this sort of sub-boss. There was me getting the right parry timing. Yay. But it's, like I said, it's like the leveling system is actually fairly simple, but understanding it is slightly more complicated, because it doesn't up front explain a lot of this stuff. You do actually have to look for the information. And, the camera's okay. I'm comparing it to things like Vampire, because that's one of the main sort of heavily inspired Souls-likes that I've actually played, and I had very negative things to say about that game. One of the main problems I had with Vampire was the lock-on system. For some reason, they decided that because they should just straight up parallel it from a console with a controller, moving the mouse actually changed your lock-on target. So that doesn't happen in this game, but also moving the mouse is kind of pointless once you've got the lock-on there. But because I'm using a mouse and keyboard, it buffs your maximum Ichor, and I guess it restores it as well. There was a tutorial I didn't pay enough attention during it, and there's a drain attack that I kept on forgetting how to use, because it's got I was using mouse and keyboard, and its indicators for which keys you should actually be using were wrong a lot of the time. Like, it kept telling me to try and use, I think, Shift plus F1 to F4 for the sort of quick bar abilities. And that was just 1, 2, 3, and 4. And they're over there on the right. There's 2 sets of diamonds. There's meant to be 2 sets of abilities. Or something. I don't know. And I mean, maybe that's control. Maybe instead of shift. I don't know. But it's a very confusing visuals of what keys you're supposed to use. So because of that, I forgot what some of the keys were supposed to be. I kept on forgetting, too, that there is actually a block. You can block. So the camera is not great, but it tends to not be because of the pace of the combat more than anything else. There is sort of an auto lock-on thing, or I don't think it engages lock-on, but it means that you can sort of not have lock-on engaged and still attack reasonably well in terms of where you're aiming the camera, which is definitely better than some other things that I've played where it just doesn't want to do that. Makes it a bit more like, say, the Batman Arkham games, which, you know, they don't have a lock-on. You just sort of aim the camera at who you want to attack and press the press forward in the attack button, and you'll go towards where the camera's aiming. My partner died. You get this annoying partner that follows you around that talks all the damn time, but they can revive you. I think you can revive them as well. I think. Yeah. Complicated and fiddly, and okay, I guess. I probably, as I said, I'm not going to actually play this. The demo was available, and it's a pretty extensive demo, considering that it lets you have this stuff that you can play after you've finished the story teaser of the demo to give you a taste of the gameplay and all that. But the camera can screw you when there are multiple enemies and things are moving, and even if you're not locked on, stuff can block your vision and you don't know what's going on. It's a lot of weird stuff. Yeah, I don't know. So it was, because it was available on Game Pass, I thought I might try it, but then I went and checked on Steam and it has a demo. So I thought, stuff it, I'll try the demo. Since it's got a demo, which is good, games should have demos more often. And there's the leveling up. You just level up. You don't pick things to level up, you just level up. And it's like base stats, and all of the other stuff is derived from the equipment you're using and any sort of modifications or improvements that you make to them. Like these things here. Yeah, but like all that stat scaling stuff, it's very intimidating to look at, but you never directly interact with it. It's changed based on what you're using, which I guess means you have to look at what you're using and how it works with the stuff that you're... Yeah, and there's your blood codes. This is me changing from the fighting one to... Do I go for ranger or I go for the other one? That talks about being ranged, because I thought I would try out was basically a musket. They call it a bayonet because despite it being a ranged weapon, its primary attack is melee, and its heavy attack is ranged, which costs mana and stuff like that. So, yeah, there it is. Yeah, so it's, it's in some ways it's simpler for, like, build type is not based on how you level up your stats, unlike Dark Souls, which is based on leveling up your stats. That's how you make your build. And it doesn't really have it has a class system, but you can change that class whenever you want. The blood codes, you can just sort of change them, and you unlock other ones. I guess that's where the depth is meant to come from. Which stats they affect and what kind of scaling. Yeah, this is a terrible, crappy close-range musket that fires like blood energy or something. Oh, there was my companion actually being useful. And that was a charged power attack, and it's just, yeah, it's I'm pretty sure if you're a Souls player, this is mostly familiar. maybe it's too simplified for you, but you know, you've got currency that you farm for leveling up. You've got materials that you find to improve your gear that you keep finding. You keep finding multiples of it because you can sell it, but you can also modify them in different ways. Like leveling them up or improving them is, as I looked at, you've got this hub thing. Improving them is straightforward, but you can actually transform them, is the word they use. You transform them to give them different modifications, which change things. So you could have multiples of the same blood veil. That's what they call the outfit. You can have multiples of them for different purposes, I guess, that are transformed in different ways. It's, yeah, like I said, it seems a bit more straightforward than some of the complicated Soul stuff I've seen, but only because the leveling system is simplified to such an extent that you don't have to focus on leveling up your attributes. That was a big, powerful magic attack that I managed to barely use against any bosses or mini-bosses or whatever. Did I engage with these two at this point? Because I'm very unprofessional. This is just me talking over pre-recorded stuff that I feel like is. I'm going to skip to when I fight these two. As I said, very unprofessional of me. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so, I don't know. For me, I wouldn't play this just because of the frustration of it being a Souls-like. I don't really have the patience to... I could grind, and that's the thing, you can grind, and the grinding is, again, simplified because it's just to give yourself more health and do more damage and have more stamina. And farm the currency for this sort of blue light step thing. I think, I'm not entirely certain, but I think perhaps that's what happens when your weapon type is, or your attack type for your weapon is moved down to quick because it's light enough or something, so that you can actually dodge like that instead of just as a dodge roll. It's me trying to use that big, powerful ranged attack, that ranged special thing. And as I said, there's me remembering that you can block way too late and just dying. And deciding that, yeah, you know what, I don't think I want to play this game. But it's got a demo, and it's on Game Pass. So if you like anime and you like Dark Souls, well, you probably have already tried it, because it's been out for a bit. But, yeah. I guess that's me done. It was a bit rambling, but I don't script these sorts of things, because that's just me. Anyway. Bye for now.